Something I've always found to be strange, silly, and sad is watching differing belief systems battle it out with each other. And I say differing belief systems battling it out instead of people because that's really what happens. When adults get taken over by a belief or by a belief system, they're not even there anymore. The belief system becomes a stand-in self, right? Whose only function is to keep the person underground and emotionally repressed. Which is why I find it strange when two belief systems go to war with each other, right? Because it's like two stories clashing, but nobody's home. Plus the content of the story or belief system, which feels really important when you're in the story or belief system, ultimately is irrelevant, and it's the same as all other stories or belief systems. For example, right now I could talk about the, conservative versus liberal thing that is always happening. But even more specifically, I'm going to point to Christianity versus wokeness. Yeah, I recently heard a Christian or conservative commentator talking about how wokeness is a religion, and I was like, yeah, it is definitely a religion. And so it's upsetting to you, a religious person, that someone else is stuck in their fundamentalist beliefs. And they might say, well, they're different beliefs and they're clearly wrong. Zoom out with me for a second. If you were watching someone who had been conditioned to believe that they lived in the Harry Potter universe, tell someone who had been conditioned to believe that they lived in the Lord of the Rings universe that their beliefs were wrong, how would that land for you? Because that's how it lands for me. It's very strange, silly, and sad. Sad because people are trapped in their beliefs, identities, and worldviews, right? Because what's really hard to recognize when you're in it, and I know because I've been in several, is that the content of all beliefs and all belief systems are equally irrelevant. Irrelevant because belief systems, no matter what they are purely functional, right? They're functional, they serve a purpose, but we don't see that when we're locked into them. And that function, of course, is to keep us from feeling and expressing what's true, to keep us in emotional repression, because it's safe. Beliefs are for safety, not truth. Now, if you're triggered by this, it's because you're in a belief system that's keeping you safely repressed. And any issue or argument that might arise in you is just some version of Voldemort is clearly the Dark Lord, not Sauron, right? See, because you're in it. And so in the Killaby Inquiries, the deprogramming and emotional repression work that we do is just to help people who want to get out, get out. It's like the same work, but even deeper, that you do to escape a cult. And it's all a cult when you're in emotional repression. So if you're ready to escape, then visit repressiontest.com.